On today's episode of SportsCenter, myself and Matt will be breaking down the international games for football, talk about the draft, also talk about stuff about the Dodgers and all that, a historic weekend for Clayton Kershaw when the Dodgers took on the Detroit Tigers, even though the Dodgers took 2 out of 3. Preview of Game 2 of the Dodgers and Giants series, and then the Kings taking on the Oilers in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Final, and it's all set right here. I'm Loro with Matt. And Matt, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Let's start with breaking down the international games that was unveiled today. So you got the Minnesota Vikings taking on the New Orleans Saints at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on October 2nd. Then on October 9th, also on NFL Network, the Green Bay Packers will take on the New York Giants. That's on NFL Network as well. And then on ESPN Plus, the Jaguars and the Broncos, you could watch that game for free on your mobile device. And then in Munich, the first game in Munich, that's also on NFL Network. That is when the Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Seattle Seahawks. And then the Mexico City game on Monday Night Football, the Arizona Cardinals take on the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, talk about the international series returning to 6 games, Matt. Which game are you most looking forward to in that international series for the NFL in 2022? I'm going to say I'm more excited about 49ers Cardinals, Trey Lance versus Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I think as far as the game goes, I think that one is probably number one. Second will be Broncos at Jaguars, actually, because you got Russell Wilson versus Trevor Lawrence, kind of a new-look Jags team, and a new-look Broncos team. So I think Broncos at Jags and then 49ers at Cardinals will be the two most exciting just from a game perspective. But I also think Tom Brady making his debut in Germany in front of that crowd of Munich, that will be pretty cool as well.
Oh, that's going to be great. I'm looking forward to watching that. I mean, it is going to be a really good international series. I mean, the NFL schedule comes out next week, and if you talk about games that I'm looking forward to the most, if it comes to the prime time games here, I mean, you talk about already the Chargers and the Chiefs already being confirmed for the first Thursday night game on Amazon Prime, which is already confirmed there during the draft, and also I want to predict here. When do you think you could see the Denver Broncos visit the Seattle Seahawks when Russell Wilson makes his triumphant return to Seattle? I'm more excited about that because you know how last year Brady made his return to New England? I think everybody should be excited to watch Russell Wilson play against the Seahawks in Seattle.
Yeah, of course. That'll be a real fun one for sure.
I think that game should be a Sunday night game or a Thursday night game.
Yeah, we'll see what they do. I don't think it'll be a primetime game because I think the Seahawks are just not that good, and they're going to want to put a more competitive game up there, I think.
I would want that game, honestly, to be in primetime because it's Russell Wilson against the Seahawks. It's going to be a sellout crowd in Seattle, and they want to see Russell Wilson make a return at night.
Yeah, it's possible. I just don't think it's as so likely, but we'll see. We'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah, I think, and anyways, with that being said, talk about the draft. I mean, let's talk about the winners of this draft. Talk about the 2 New York teams, the New York Giants and the New York Jets. They really had fantastic drafts.
Yes, I think they both did. I think the Jets, though, they had so many picks, it's kind of, they should have had a good draft. So I give them some credit for that, but they took the guys that you would expect to take at that point. And they had a lot of draft picks. So, but yeah, the Jets, they did what they had to do going forward to be more competitive in the AFC East.
Yeah, the Jets did. I mean, talk about they got Sauce Gardner and then they got Garrett Wilson in the first round. They really nailed those 2 picks, 2 first-round draft choices.
Yeah.
And for the Giants, they got Kayvon Thibodeau to kind of help address their pass rushing needs, and then Evan Neal great pit choice for the Giants because they really need offensive line help, regardless if Daniel Jones has a good year or not. But I don't know what the expectations are for Daniel Jones in year 4, because this is a make or break year for Daniel Jones.
It is, for sure.
So what about your Lions? Tell us what your thoughts on this Lions draft. They moved up so many spots to get Jameson Williams, but however, Aiden Hutchinson, I called it that he's going to be a Detroit Lion. Who are you most excited about out of those 2 first-round picks of your Detroit Lions?
Well, I think both. Aiden Hutchinson's going to bring a lot of fire on defense. He has a high motor. And then Williams is going to be really good, I think, as a receiver. And they probably won't play him until week 6. He'll probably be on the PUP list before then. But I think they will. I think he's going to be a really good receiver. And I'm happy they got him. And the Lions, they did what they had to do, too. They're building a team.
They are. And then talking about your LA Chargers, you're a member, you're a season ticket member of them. What is your thoughts when Zion Johnson was picked by the Chargers in the first round? And are you also overall happy with the Chargers draft?
Yeah, I think so. I think Zion Johnson was a great pick. I don't know. Initially, I thought they'd be playing him at right guard. We'll see if he stays there. But they improved instantly their offensive line with Zion Johnson, and they particularly need to improve the right side of the line. Their center and their left tackle are great. Whether Zion Johnson plays left guard or right guard, and whether they move Feeler to the right side or not, we'll see what happens with that. But they definitely improved there. I think I like Spiller. They're
the running back from Texas A&M. I think he's going to be a good number 2 back behind Austin Eckler.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. I think that was a really good pick. And then their other pick was the.
Are you talking about JT Woods, the safety?
Yeah. Who, with Staley's scheme, he likes a lot of corners and DBs, and he needs to improve the front, the defensive pass rush, right? And then linebackers are kind of an afterthought in his scheme. So that explains why they don't really have a linebacker, that good of a linebacking core right now. But with their defensive scheming, we'll see how that works out. There's a lot of pressure.
Kind of confusing here. It's funny. The Chargers have 2 Khalil Macks.
Yeah.
That's kind of funny because that Khalil Mack went to the University of Buffalo. The Khalil Mack that was with the Raiders went to the University of Buffalo.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a funny coincidence that there's 2 Khalil Macks.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a Mack attack on that defense. I also liked the Jamar Seiler pick at round 6. He's from Georgia, and I think he's going to bring a lot to that defense.
Yeah.
So, and then for my Patriots, I kind of questioned their draft picks. I gave them a C+ in this draft just because there were some picks I didn't agree with.
Yeah.
And then they drafted Cole Strange, who was supposed to be a mid-round pick. And why would the Patriots take a Division II offensive lineman in the first round?
Yeah, I don't know.
But Bill Belichick seems to find really good talent in Division II schools.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it by him that he found some gems.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He's found gems like Malcolm Butler from Western Alabama, and Kyle Duggars from a Division II school. That's also good. So Bill Belichick knows what he's doing, but a lot of people have criticized him for that. So who do you think, honestly? I think who lost the draft was the Patriots, even though I hate to admit it. But I think that the Patriots lost the draft. I think that the Green Bay Packers, they had an okay draft, but I just thought that they should have drafted a receiver in the first round.
Yeah. I think some other lose. I think the Jags didn't do much.
What were your thoughts on the Jags getting Trayvon Walker at 1? Were you the one that called it?
Yeah, I did. He just kind of shot up out of nowhere, but he's a bit of an unknown quantity. But we'll see. I mean, Doug Peterson's been around the game enough to know. But yeah, I think so. I think they kind of lost a little bit. I also think, let's see, the Patriots, maybe underperformed a little bit with that, but really, two quarterbacks were a big loser. In general, the guys coming out of college, like there just weren't. I mean, it was a dead year for quarterbacks. You had the Pitt Panther go to the Steelers, and then after that, nothing until the third round.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I think here when it comes to the draft picks out of these quarterbacks. I predict that out of the quarterbacks in this draft, I think Kenny Pickett's going to be starting for sure for the Steelers. I think Desmond Reader will beat out Marcus Mariota. And I also think Matt Corral, who's a Panther, I don't think Sam Darnold is going to be the starter week 1. I think it's going to be Matt Corral for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay.
Who do you think is going to start week 1 out of the quarterback group? Do you think it's going to be Kenny Pickett? Do you think Desmond Reader will start for the Falcons? Do you think Matt Corral will start for Carolina?
I think Kenny Pickett has a good shot at starting for the Steelers.
I think with Reader, I think that Arthur Smith finally found his quarterback.
Hopefully.
And for the Panthers, Matt Corral could be Matt Rule's guy. Because I didn't think Sam Darnold or Teddy Bridgewater, it was his guy.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I think we're gonna at least see 3 rookie quarterbacks starting this year.
Yeah.
And Malik Willis, I was kind of shocked that he went to the Tennessee Titans. I'm like, why would he go there?
Yeah, well, to be honest, I feel like they know Tannehill is kind of not. I don't think he's a long-term solution. So he's clearly, like last year's playoff game against the Bengals. I mean, he looked out of place out there. And I feel like now they have Malik Willis on the bench. They know they can go to him. And this could put pressure on Tannehill to play better. And it could be a way for Malik Willis to adapt to the NFL a little bit for a year. So I kind of like the move. We'll see how it works out. I don't know if Malik Willis can play in the NFL, but we'll see if it works out.
So you think Malik Willis, are you saying that he's going to come in and beat Ryan Tannehill for the week 1 job?
No, I don't think he will.
Or you think
will. I think only Kenny Pickett has the chance of starting on the first day.
Are you saying it's Pickett and Desmond Reader and Matt Corral that has a very good shot at starting in day 1?
Probably, yeah.
And then with Malik Willis, you think Malik Willis is more of a do you see him more along the lines like how Patrick Mahomes started? He sat behind Alex Smith for a year, and then he took over after 1 year.
Yeah.
Do you think that he's in a similar situation that he's in with how Alex Smith is?
Probably.
I meant Mahomes.
Yeah.
Because Malik Willis was a great quarterback at Liberty, but I just felt like that he needed to go to a team where he can actually start. But Tennessee, you already have Ryan Tannehill. But I think maybe the Titans run a pistol. Maybe you put Malik Willis in that formation.
Yeah.
Do you think they could do like what the Saints do with Taysom Hill?
Yeah, it could be. But I don't really like what they use with Taysom Hill. But we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, also, what was your thoughts on the Saints moving up to get Chris Olave?
Yeah, a bit of a boom or bust for the Saints, I think. They also had they drafted the offensive lineman from Northern Iowa.
Trevor Penning.
Yeah,
They needed more. They needed to draft a replacement for Teron Armstead.
Yeah. I'm glad the Chargers got Zion Johnson. Like, I think he was probably the best interior lineman of the draft. So I'm happy with that. Penning we'll see. He has a high ceiling, but he could be a bust as well.
What about the Chiefs moving up with one of their first-round picks to Trent McDuffie, who you wanted, and then they got George Karlaftis?
Yeah, I think that's helped him. That's going to help him a lot. What do you think?
I think it's going to help them defensively, too. And I think that you have Russell Wilson and Justin Herbert and Russell Wilson in the division. And if you want to stop them, you have to have a good defense behind Mahomes.
Yeah.
And what about the Texans? Are you shocked about them? You called them getting Derek Stingley Jr.
Yeah.
How do you think he's going to fit into that defense?
Yeah, I think that he's probably, hopefully he turns out pretty well. It's been a little bit difficult with corners the last couple of years, I think, with some busts. Maybe I'm just thinking of from the Lions with Joe Okudah. That he's been kind of a bust. But
are you talking about Jeff Okudah?
Jeff Okudah, yeah. Yeah, and I think
thought that was who was going to be good, but ended up turning out being a bust.
Yeah, he's been really injured. So I think it's, there's still a lot of questions with the Texans. They have just a lot of question marks. So we'll see how that plays out.
What about the Panthers getting Ike Ekwonu?
I think he's going to be pretty good. He's going to help them out.
Yeah, especially they need offensive line help. And then, you know what I didn't get? Why did the Falcons use their first-round pick on a receiver? I mean, I think Drake London's going to be Desmond Ridder's favorite target, but I would have not done that if I were Atlanta.
Yeah. They must not have liked Malik Willis. They must have thought, he's not worth trading up for or going for, and because they had a couple of chances to get him and they didn't. So
they had, but they ended up settling with Reader. But I think Drake, I wanted the Chargers to get Drake London because he's from USC, he's from Moore Park, and I think playing in LA and at SoFi Stadium, moving Keenan Allen into the slot would definitely help Keenan Allen even better.
Yeah.
So what about the Eagles? I mean, they traded one of their first-round picks to Tennessee, and Jordan Davis, I think, is a great pick for the Philadelphia Eagles at 13. But what is your thoughts on the Jordan Davis pick, and what's your thoughts on the Eagles trading for A.J. Brown?
Yeah, I don't know. My dog is eating something. I'm trying to eat something here. Okay. There we go. I think that A.J. Brown, he should provide some spark for the Eagles. But yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, and then the Titans got Treylon Burks with one of their picks. What do you think he's going to bring to the Titans?
Yeah, I think the Titans drafted pretty well, I think, overall. So I think he'll provide a lot of pop and energy, I think. Yeah,
I wanted the Packers to get Treylon Burks, but I think Treylon Burks, I saw his tape. He is a good receiver out of Arkansas, but what about the Washington Commanders? Did you think they nailed it with Jahan Dotson?
I think it was a good pick, yeah.
And then the Texans got Keon Green, who's staying in Texas, but he's also going to be he's going to protect Davis Mills.
Yeah.
So overall, I think who lost the draft? I said Green Bay, and I said New England. But I think if you look at this draft class, I think this was an okay draft class. But I'll tell you, my early favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year is Kenny Pickett. What about you?
I'm going to go with, let's see.
Who's your early favorite for Offensive Rookie of the Year?
Let me just see here. Bring up the list of picks. Yeah, it was a defensive heavy draft.
It was defensive heavy.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a wide receiver, I think.
You mean you're gonna do a wide receiver for 2 years in a row because last year was Jamar Chase?
Yeah. The problem is a lot of these wide receivers, they're not on teams with good quarterbacks or offenses. So let's see. So Kenny Pickett could be the best choice, actually.
For offensive.
I'll go with Treylon Burks.
You mean of the Titans? You think in his rookie year, you think he's gonna perform well?
Yeah.
My pick for defensive rookie of the year. Oh, this is tough. I'm actually gonna pick my pick for my early favorite for defensive rookie of the year. We won't make those picks official until the before the season starts because we could change our minds if we think this person's good, But I think my early favorite for defensive rookie of the year has to go to Aiden Hutchinson of the Detroit Lions.
Me too. Yeah, I agree with that.
Although I think Trayvon Walker could be good, but Aiden Hutchinson probably has the more talent,
Yeah, I just like his motor, so I'm gonna go with him too.
Yeah, and then what was your thoughts on the Vikings trading back to get Lewis signed? They needed defensive back help when they made that trade with Detroit.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
so
probably a good move for them. Yeah,
it's probably a good move for the Detroit Lions, excuse me. But anyways, with the schedule coming out, I mean, talk about the predictions for the Thanksgiving games. I predicted it was going to be Dolphins, Lions, Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Rams, Chiefs.
Okay, that sounds pretty good.
What about you? Who do you predict is going to be the Thanksgiving slate?
I'll go with those. I'll do it with the same ones. So they sound pretty good to me.
Yeah, Dolphins, Lions is good, and then Buccaneers, Cowboys, and then Rams and Chiefs. And then what's your thoughts on a Black Friday game? That's going to be coming. And I think if it happened this year, it should be the Pittsburgh Steelers should be playing in that.
Yeah, that'd be a fun one.
Yeah, but I think that everybody should be excited to see Kenny Pickett play in Pittsburgh. And you think that he's going to beat out Mitchell Trubisky?
Yes, I think so.
For the starting job?
Yep.
So, anyways, with that being said now we'll talk some NBA basketball first. The headlines on the Lakers as Phil Jackson, who we kind of talked about could be the next Lakers head coach, he's reportedly going to be part of the Lakers head coaching search and help advise Jeannie Buss and Rob Pelinka on who should be the next Lakers coach. Do you think that this process for the Lakers and finding their next head coach will help with Phil Jackson kind of being the one that's telling Jeannie or something like that to get this process to move faster?
She's bringing in Phil Jackson. I just feel like, she's listening to a lot of people. I mean, she should be working with Rob Pelinka, about this. But so I've never liked her management style where she's just talking to like former Laker greats. Sometimes it's Magic Johnson. It was Kobe for a few years after he retired before he passed away. And you just wonder, who's she listening to? Why is she listening to so many people?
Yeah, she should be working with Rob Pelinka here. I know Rob Pelinka is going to be involved in that search too. So, and also Kurt and Linda Rambis.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you feel about Kurt Rambis being a part of that front office. Do you think Kurt Rambis should not have that much power in that front office?
Yeah, probably.
No, I like Kurt Rambis. Kurt Rambis, I think he's a good addition to whatever role the Lakers give him because he knows the organization very well.
Yeah.
But sometimes his style's not really that good.
Right.
I mean, but do you have a favorite on who you think is going to be the next Lakers coach? I have a feeling that the Jazz should part ways with Quinn Snyder and that the Lakers hire Quinn Snyder.
Yeah, I've been saying I think it's Quinn Snyder.
And like Quinn Snyder has worked for the Lakers before as an assistant coach, and I think that if the Lakers hire him to be the head coach, I think that, like you said, he's basketball savvy. He thinks the game defense first. He's learned from Coach K, and I think that Quinn Snyder preaches defense first, like Vogel, and he would know how to use Anthony Davis and LeBron James and Russell Westbrook correctly.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so.
So do you think Quinn Snyder's now your first choice to be the Lakers coach?
Yes.
I'm going to go with you on that. I mean, Mark Jackson is probably going to be the head coach of the Sacramento Kings. And what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, really? Oh, gosh. He should just stay in broadcasting.
Would anybody want to take that job to coach the Kings?
So.
Is that the least favorite out of the three head coaching openings?
I think so. Well, who else has an opening?
Charlotte
and Sacramento, and who else?
That's it.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Because I want Frank Vogel to coach the Charlotte Hornets since he got scapegoated by the Lakers, and I think Frank Vogel should be coaching in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
So do you think that Frank Vogel would be a fit for Charlotte?
Yes, I think he probably would be.
Yeah, let's talk about some games right now. The NBA playoffs, second round already. And I'll tell you, I'm going to hear your thoughts on the Memphis Grizzlies beating the Golden State Warriors yesterday. They evened up this series. That was a statement win right there for the Memphis Grizzlies.
Yeah, they had a nice finish there. And John Morant with 47 points. That's incredible. What a great playoff game for him.
If you talk about him being the next face of the NBA along with Giannis, John Morant is definitely the next face of the NBA.
Could be, yeah.
And then the Bucks lost to the Boston Celtics. Giannis only had 28 points, a near triple-double. Jason Tatum had 29 points with 8 assists, and Jaylen Brown had 30 points.
Yeah, very good performances.
And then the Suns beat the Mavs 121-114, and then the Miami Heat won 106-92.
And the Celtics beat the Bucks yesterday, 109-86.
And your thoughts on that is that you think that series will go to 7?
It might. I think it will. But the Bucks got crushed yesterday.
Yeah, the Bucks. I mean, would you be shocked if the defending champs were knocked out by the Celtics?
Yeah, the Bucks are down 25 points at halftime, and I would say that the Celtics are playing a different type of basketball with this very stingy defense that I love. It's kind of old school, and Jason Tatum is playing really well. But the Bucks are still the champs, and they'll be tough to dethrone. That series going back to Milwaukee on Thursday.
Yeah, and then the Sixers are looking to regroup tonight against the Miami Heat. What is your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a tough one too. So I still like the Heat in this one. The Heat and the Celtics, two big surprises this season, but you shouldn't be surprised, I guess. They're both pretty good. But I like the Heat right now. I think the Heat, what was that first game? Yeah, they beat up on the Sixers in the second half in that first game. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if the Sixers can keep it close and hang on for a win.
Some news to talk about in the NBA awards segment is that Tyler Hero, he is the 6th Man of the Year award winner. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that's well earned. He's been great for Miami.
Yeah, talk about if you talk, we picked Jordan Clarkson to win it before the season began, but Tyler Hero just earned it.
Yeah.
So Tyler Hero is the NBA's most Sixth Man of the Year award. I mean, can't wait to find out who's going to be MVP and Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
So, anyways, draft lottery coming up. Where do you predict where the Detroit Pistons will land in the draft?
A little high pick. I mean, it should be top 3.
Top 3, probably top 3 protected.
Yeah.
So, anyways, now that being said, folks, now we'll talk some baseball here. So, over the weekend, the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers, and then Saturday was a historic day. Clayton Kershaw struck out Spencer Torkelson for his 2,357th strikeout, surpassing Don Sutton on the all-time career strikeout list for the Dodgers. But the Dodgers offense that night was very quiet, even with Mookie Betts hitting the only home run of that game. But that game was decided on both bullpens.
Yeah, it was a good game if you're a Tiger fan like I was. But they didn't play so well in the other 2 games and lost the series.
So, I mean, talk about Eduardo Rodriguez. That game on Sunday, that was his first game at Dodger Stadium since he threw his glove to the ground when he gave up that home run to Yasiel Puig.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
No. I mean, he did it with the Red Sox, and now it's the Tigers, and probably didn't think much of it.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that series in particular, the Detroit Tigers. I mean, you didn't see any home runs from your Detroit Tigers on Saturday, but talk about them getting a win. And when I thought you brought them the luck on Saturday.
Yeah, I think I did. It was ended up staying the whole game to the very end, and it was definitely a fun time.
Well, if you look at it here, I mean, talk about the right now the Detroit Tigers. They're playing the Pittsburgh Pirates for a doubleheader since yesterday's game was postponed. So right now in the top of the 7th inning, we have a game update. The Detroit Tigers are up 3-2 over the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, they're up 3-2. They have a doubleheader today.
Yeah, did you like it? I mean, for the Tigers, I mean, Miguel Cabrera, you know what I thought? I thought Clayton Kershaw was going to strike out Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, I thought, too. He got 2 strikes on him. I thought, oh, my gosh, he'll strike out a Hall of Famer for the record there, but didn't happen.
Yeah, and then talk about guys like who homered in this series, like Jimmy Candelario had a hit a home run on Sunday, and then Austin Meadows had a pretty good series.
Yeah.
And Akel Baduz also was good. And talk about Gregory Soto in the 9th on Saturday. Talk about him throwing heat on the Dodgers.
Yeah, no, he did really well. So I think he did pretty good.
Do you think the Detroit Tigers are heading in the right direction despite their 7-14 record?
Yeah, they got off to a slow start. No other team in the division is really playing that well. The Twins are the only one above 500. So, but yeah, they need to go on a little bit of a win streak here.
Do you think that the White Sox were supposed to be good? They were my favorite to win the division, but look at the Twins. I mean, with the Twins with the 15-9 record that the Twins have, do you think that they can sustain it?
Yeah, I don't think so, but they could be a surprise team. There's always a surprise team every year.
The thing with the Twins is if they have a healthy Byron Buxton, they are a better baseball team with Byron Buxton out on the field.
Yeah.
And when they don't have Byron Buxton, then that team is totally different.
Uh-huh.
So that's why to win the AL Central for the Twins, the key is keeping Byron Buxton on the field. You have Correa, and you have Sano, but Sano is going to be out for a while, and I think that's a huge blow to the Minnesota Twins infield.
Yeah.
So right now, the standings: the Twins 15-9, the Guardians 10-12, The White Sox 10-13. I think the White Sox will get better. I could see that. And then the Royals are 8-14. But talk about Bobby Witt Jr. hitting his first career home run.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
And then the Tigers are 7-14. But talk about some disappointing losses last night before we get to the Dodger game. I mean, last night the Angels, however, they lost to the Boston Red Sox 4-0. And with the Angels 15-10, do you still think the Angels can sustain their good play right now?
I think they can. I think they're going to this year.
I mean, talk about Joe Adele. I mean, he got demoted. I mean, he needs to find a way to get his bat going. I think having Mike Trout back with Shohei back healthy, I think the Angels. This team is not really a pretender to me.
Yeah, I think they're going to be pretty good. I think they'll be in it to the end here.
That's our call for who's going to win the American League West, and I think the Angels have shown that they can play. I've shown it so far, but the Astros have been playing pretty good lately. They are 7-3 in their last in their last 10 games. They're 7-3.
Yeah.
And then the Mariners, even though they're 12-12, I still think the Seattle Mariners, they're going to be above 500 when the season ends. I still think they're hungry to get back to the postseason.
Yeah, I think so too.
Do you think is this the year that they finally end that long decade playoff drought?
It'll be close, but I don't think so.
I would want to see it. I think that they have a good baseball team. I mean, I think they got the pitching to do it, and I think that their offense is going to be really good. And then talk about the Cincinnati Reds for a moment. Let's spotlight them right now. They're 3-20, and they're favored to finish 20-144.
Yeah.
And do you think the Reds right now are going to be? Or do you think the Reds will end up being one of the worst, finishing with the worst record in baseball?
They could be one of the worst teams of all time.
Yeah, look what they did. They did not re-sign Nick Castellanos. They traded Suarez and Winker. And I didn't get they didn't even trade Luis Castillo or Tyler Mahle. And then Nick Kroll, the GM of the Reds, said we don't want to trade Luis Castillo and Tyler Mahle. We want them to be a part of our long-term future.
Yeah.
So do you think the Reds are going to be big-time sellers come trade deadline day?
Yeah, I think so.
Who do you think is going to most likely be on the block? Luis Castillo or Tyler Mahle?
Probably Luis Castillo.
They can get more value for him, but I also think that Jonathan India is off limits. I think Hunter Green is off limits. I think the Reds have a bright future with Hunter Green.
Uh-huh.
So the Reds, to me, they're a laughing stock. They're back to being the laughing stock of baseball.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought the Diamondbacks would be, but look at them. Why are they 12-13 all of a sudden? This team was supposed to be losing over 100 games this season, which I still think could still happen.
Yeah.
And the Diamondbacks are 6-4 in their last 10 games. So, out of the last place teams in the National League, who do you think has the best chance to finish with the worst record?
In the National League?
Yeah, between the Reds, the Nationals, and the Diamondbacks.
I think it'll be the Reds.
What about Washington? I mean, they're 9-16. They're hanging in there, but I don't think they're going to keep up with the Mets.
No, I don't think they will either. They're in too tough a division.
It is a tough division, but kind of the surprise there's the Miami Marlins. I said beginning of the season, this is a last place team. And look at them. They're 12-11. Their starting pitching has been phenomenal.
Yeah, it has been.
And what about the Braves? Let's play a game right here. Do you want to panic with the Braves now, or do you want to be patient with them?
Be patient. They just won the World Series last year. Yeah.
Yeah, they're 11-15. They're way under 500. So, are you saying that they're kind of in a World Series hangover right now?
Yeah, it could be a lot of things too. So it's still early May. I wouldn't be panicking.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't bet on them. I wouldn't bet them being a bad team. I just think that the Atlanta Braves have been in this row before. Talk about them being a good second half team, and they still won the division. I just don't think now they're going to win the division. I think the New York Mets got this.
Yeah.
So you think it's because I think Buck Showalter has done a really good job with how he's managed this ball club.
Yeah, I agree.
What about the Yankees? They're 18-6. They have won 11 in a row. Man, what a run! I was saying that if I was saying that Aaron Boone should be fired if the Yankees had a bad season. But look at the Yankees now. What is your thoughts on the Yankees right now?
They're might be the best team in baseball right now.
I was I picked the Toronto Blue Jays just because I love their youth movement. But I think Toronto 15-10, I think they're going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
So do you still think the Blue Jays and the Rays will still make the playoffs?
Yeah, I think. Well, no, that's a lot of. If it's Blue Jays, Rays, and Yankees, that's a lot from one division. So no, I'll go with Yankees and Blue Jays.
And then Tampa Bay just misses.
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa Bay is good, but talk about the Dodgers here. They played the Giants yesterday, a 3-1 win. Julio Urias 2-1 with a 1.88, normally a Dodger. Do you think this is going to be a two-game sweep of the Dodgers here?
Yeah, I think it'll be a 2-game sweep. They'll win tonight.
Yeah, and then they have an off day tomorrow, and then they play the Cubs on Friday. And then based on the weather there, it's not looking good so far. It's supposed to rain.
Uh-oh.
It's supposed to rain on Friday when the game starts. They might even go with a doubleheader, but we'll see. I'm not quite sure if they're going to cancel it yet. We'll just have to find out and wait and see.
Okay.
So, anyways, with that being said now, folks, now we'll talk about some game updates here. So we have other in-game updates here on this Wednesday of baseball. We got the Marlins and the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are up 6-5, and then the Tigers in the bottom of the seventh.
5-0.
The Pirates are trailing the Tigers 3-2. The Padres and the Guardians are both tied up at 3. 7-0 Cardinals over the Royals, and then the Braves are beating the Mets 5-0 just now right behind me. And then the Rays.
What channel are you watching?
What's that?
What station are you watching for the game?
MLB Network.
Oh, okay.
And then the Rays and the Athletics are just about to get started.
Okay.
And then the Dodgers and the Giants don't play until 7:00. Anyways here, do you think that the Dodgers? Do you think Tony Gonsolin can pitch 7 solid innings or something amongst those lines?
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see about that. But anyways, we'll talk a little hockey here. So the Kings take on the Oilers in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So what was your thoughts on Game 1? I watched Game 1, and the Kings won by a goal.
Yeah, it was a good game by them. And, yeah, I think that when do they play on? They played on Monday?
Yeah, Monday in Edmonton, and then today they're back in Edmonton for Game 2, and then Game 3 will be on Friday night.
Yeah. I'm impressed with the Hurricanes blew out the Bruins, the Maple Leafs blew out the Lightning, the Blues blew out the Wild, and the Kings, they got a late goal and ended up holding on there. And then yesterday, the Penguins beat the Rangers in triple overtime.
Oh, I heard about that. That game was insane.
Yeah, and then the Capitals beat the Panthers 4-2. They blew them up in the third period, and the Avalanche crushed the Predators 7-2. And the Flames eked out a 1-0 win over the Stars.
Nothing like playoff hockey. Playoff hockey is so much fun. And do you think the Kings can win Game 2 tonight?
Yeah. I think Edmonton will bounce back, though. But, yeah, I think I like Carolina and Toronto. And then I like Minnesota and the Oilers to bounce back to even up the series.
Why do you want a little drama here? Because I was kind of thinking that if the Kings are up 1-0 in the series, I was kind of like they should sweep the Oilers because the Oilers haven't had a playoff win in years.
Yeah, that's true. They might.
But kind of a surprise here that we're not seeing Vegas in there. The Canadian teams in the Pacific Division are in, like Calgary. I think Calgary, with Daryl Sutter as their head coach, I think he's taken the Flames back to a whole new level, and I think he has unfinished business as the head coach of the Flames.
Yeah, that could be.
What about the Oilers? Talk about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah, I think they're pretty good. What do you think?
I think the Kings, they probably will win this game. They want to be up 2-0 by the time they return home.
Yeah.
So you're wanting Oilers to win so that we have actually a series in hockey?
Yes.
Anyways, with that being said here, what's your thoughts on Dustin Brown retiring after the season? Do you think the Kings are the Kings your pick to win the Stanley Cup because of Dustin Brown retiring?
Yeah, I don't think they'll win, but yeah, they're going to give him some motivation. Yeah, it's a great career for Dustin.
But you're saying you don't think the Kings win the cup, but do you think they will do it for Dustin Brown?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that that the Kings will be in the Stanley Cup final and that they win it and that Dustin Brown will lift up the cup?
Ooh, that'd be a good ending to his career for sure.
But are you saying that it's probably not going to happen for the Kings?
No, I don't think it'll happen.
Is it because if they have to face like Colorado or Calgary, they're going to have a challenge?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think but do you think the Kings get past the first round?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they do, but who are they going to run to when they get into the second and third round? You never know, because I'm telling you, Colorado's good. They're Stanley Cup or bust. The Calgary Flames, they could be heading back for another run at the Cup. And I also think Washington can make another run at it. And I also think that I could see the Kings making a run. I think the Kings are already cup contenders.
Okay, cool.
So anyways, Matt, next week we're gonna we're gonna break down the NFL schedule and all that good stuff, and you have a great day.
You too. See you, Loro.